Fellas, you just mentioned, and I hate to use this as a segue, but you just mentioned you was just down in Miami. The sad time news comes out that Dwayne Haskins has passed away. Haskins has passed away this morning after being, I guess as it's being reported, struck by a car on the side of a road. Um, this is first of all, it's super sad. I mean, the reports are being detailed that he was there. Trubisky invited guys. They were down there working out. It was a bonding trip. These things happen all the time, where guys get together in the off season and go work together and build relationships. Those cords of love and bonds of a lifetime of brotherhood is built during these types of moments. And tragedy strikes, man. What are y'all's first reactions? And I know for certain that all three of us have been a part of losing teammates to tragedy. Like, it's one thing when you get older, you get a little older, and someone passes away. I buried both my grandparents, my dad's mother and father, during the course of this past year, and it hurts when you lose a loved one, but when they're older, you feel as though, I'm a grown man. They had great grandkids. They got an opportunity to really see life. When you hear of a tragic accident, a tragic passing, he's 24 years old and is gone tragically. What's your first reaction, and do you have any points of reference to offer to our listening audience in terms of just perspective of how this impacts us as a community?
It's sad. That was the first word that came to mind, was this is so sad. And I'm in a group text with a ton of former players, probably 3 or 4 that I played with, some guys I didn't play with, but other guys that played with them. And it's when this happens is, man, we need to get together. We need to see. This man was 24 years old. And when you look at it, first off, Adam Schefter was the first to report this. And what TJ doesn't like is, like, when Adam Schefter reports it, I don't know if anybody initially, like, you saw what happened and you see Adam Schefter's report. It's a standout at Ohio State before struggling to catch on with
Yeah.
like, really? Really?
Yeah.
Like, really?
That's
And
what you're going to make your headline.
exactly. And guess what
Yeah.
happened? Somebody got hold of that. Adam, you need to take this down. This man just lost his life. So he did take it down, and he changed it. And so it's just so unfortunate. You're 24 years old. You got your entire life in front of you.
Forget football. I mean, you have your
No,
entire life.
Football is the
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have your entire life in front of you. And when this happens, as former players and current players, you're going to see, a ton of tributes on social media. But you get one life, man. And a lot of times we take it for granted. We were able to wake up today, and you know how many people don't get that luxury? We're able to wake up and take a breath today and breathe and see the sun and be around your loved ones, your wife, your kids, and your family. Everybody's not given that opportunity each and every day, and we take that for granted each and every day. And I'm guilty of that.
Yeah.
And you see somebody 24 years old lose his life so tragically. It's sad. It's heartbreaking. It's so disappointing. I was with the Bengals for years with Chris Henry.
Yeah.
And when Chris Henry passed, I had just left as a free agent to the Seattle Seahawks. But Chris Henry locker was right next to me and Chad. We called him Slim. Dude was so quiet, never said, you walk into the locker room, like, Slim, what's up? What's up, Wody? Wouldn't say another word. He was just so quiet to himself and was just real chill. And when he passed, I reflected and I said, oh, man, because he was on IR. And I said, man, if I had still been in Cincinnati, he probably wouldn't have been on IR because he got hurt playing a position that I would have been playing. And he probably wouldn't have been able to be in Carolina. and the tragic accident would have never. You just start to play things in your head, but the people that you love, you got to tell them each and every day how much they mean to you. You love them, you care for them, because you just don't know if you can do this tomorrow. So if you don't know, do it today. I text my kids the other day, how is your happiness?
Yeah.
Because that's what's important.
It's most important.
Like, he has parents that are mourning the loss of their son.
Yeah, a wife.
It's so unfortunate at 24 years old. My prayers are out to his family. I wish him nothing but the best. But we take this life for granted, and I'm guilty of that. And it takes something like this to make you reflect. But hopefully, myself included, we can do this without a tragic incident.
Yeah.
Man, the first thing I thought about this morning was, I get out of my bed every morning, I get on my knees and, I do what I got to do and pray. And I said to myself, this platform that we have, LaVar, TJ, myself, and media, we have a job to do. But nevertheless, we're human, and we speak about, humans on the other side of this microphone. And, life continues to remind us, every day instances and tragic situations like this about, how precious life really is. And you're talking about a man, 24 years old, just getting his feet on the ground, 3 years removed from having one of the greatest, college quarterback seasons of all time. And, now this young man's life is cut short by a tragic accident, and he no longer is with us. And I think about his mom and his dad and his family and just what they're going through. It's not even about football. It's about this young man just, working all his life to pursue a dream and, have it chopped down by, this tragic accident. And now, here we are. And it's humbling. Life does that to us in so many different instances. And, man, I'm just sitting here looking out the window, just, grateful. And we had Moose Johnson on the show earlier this year. And Marcus Paul was my strength coach in the New York Giants. And Moose mentioned that, Marcus Paul was always saying, hey, man, come on, we got to get together. We got to get together. And Moose said, oh, man, I will. I'm working and I'm busy and we'll get together. And you look up and, Marcus Paul had passed away. And the first thing you say to yourself is like, man, I just should have took that little bit of time to go down and see my brother.
Yeah.
And it just continues. Life, man, just continues to just remind us of how precious each day is. And like TJ just said, man, you just, every day you're here, man, you just don't take it for granted. Make progress, have an impact, whatever it may be. Tell your kids you love them, hug them, your son, your daughter, your wife, whatever the case may be. But 24 years old, still a nation family, even though he's only been there a short time. But listen, man, it's something that you can't even really put together because, like, this whole thing just came out and we're like, we're going into a show and everything your emotion flips. And it's just something that you just don't want to see. And, I didn't get the opportunity to play with Sean Taylor, but I remember the morning that this happened, I was getting in my truck to go to work, and my agent had texted me. I ran back in the house and I fell on the floor and I just started crying just because I knew the kind of person he was, and I trained with him every day in the summer for 4 or 5 years. Yeah. And it's just something that, you just don't want to see. And I send my prayers out to his family, his wife, and his kids, man.
I wasn't there. In fact, I believe I was retired when Sean passed away, and I got the call the moment it happened from the team security. And I'll never forget. I was in Dulles Airport. I'll never forget the call. I'll never forget how I felt. You ever see one of them movies where it's like a train?
It's almost disbelief, like this can't
right?
be real.
It's like you're standing in front of a tunnel, and the locomotive like runs up on you too quickly, like you just can't get out of the way of it. Like real fast. It moves real fast, and then it slows down. And then it's like, for me, and I have lost some people tragically in my life, my entire life, and it's just when the moment happens. I lost a cousin to gang violence. I mean, I've lost plenty of family to gang violence, but I lost one in particular that was my favorite cousin that I looked up to, and it was super comparable to the moment I had when they called me about Sean, and it was like, it's like you get snapshots of every single moment that you've had with them. Then you start having snapshots of your own life because it forces you to take your own look at your own immortality, or your mortality, right? It's like we're not as football players, we think we are invincible.
Think you're bulletproof.
And then these moments, they start to chip away at you, and as you get a little older, you get more sensitive. Like I'm as sensitive now as a person as I've ever been in my life, and I know it's because of these types of moments. It's like maybe a month ago, I lost one of the kids that I mentored, one of the kids we had in our program, Plex. He lost his life getting hit by a train, and just the lives that you impact and the people you're involved with and the people that impact your lives. When it tragically happens like this, it's like you can't get it out of your head. It's the hardest thing. Sometimes Sean Taylor's situation plays out in my head just randomly. Sometimes, the family members that I've lost tragically, it just plays out in your head just randomly, and just the emotions that you feel never really go away. So, this isn't about talking about if he had a failed career or what his career looked like or his struggles. It's just a moment to understand, as you mentioned, TJ and Plex, that this is a person and we do have jobs to do, and we are measured and weighed and judged when we're in the public for the jobs that we do. But times like these, moments like these, go to serve a purpose of don't forget that people are people first, and the same people that you're sitting there and you're scrutinizing and you're speaking about or you're looking at, those things are merely just what they are. You're reporting a sport. You're being a fan on Twitter, whatever, on social media, whatever it may be. But life is a beautiful struggle. And
Adam Schefter needed that reminder.
Yeah, he did. All right, well, guys, thoughts and prayers to the Haskins family. That is sad news. Yeah, peace and comfort to the family, to the wife, to the family of Dwayne Haskins. Gone at 24, struck by a car. It's being reported on the side of the road.